Well, it's the day before Thanksgiving, and we came up to the Bighorn Mountains just to see what was going on, hopefully get some clips in the snow. We brought the drone. It's been so windy that we could not fly the drone, and it was quite chilly, too. It's been in the 30s down in town in the valleys, and we got up here, and it was like 17 degrees up at 10,000 feet, which was not a surprise. Wind was blowing pretty good. So we got a few clips. We couldn't get the drone up or anything. But as we're making our way back, we're keeping our eyes out for wildlife. We didn't see any going up. And I think we're around 8,000 feet now. And I happened to glance off to the left in a clearing back there, and there were a couple of bull moose just making their way this direction, the same direction we were going. And I was all excited, so we pulled over, got a video clip. And they went into the woods. And as I'm watching in the woods, and Melanie's watching, we realize that there's actually a whole herd of them out there in the woods. And they're walking in a straight line going the same direction, parallel to the road here, but off, I don't know, 50 yards into the woods or so. They've been making their way along. So we've kind of been pulling ahead a little ways and parking and then watching as they go through in the woods. But there's at least 5 or 6 of them. It is totally cool. I've never seen so many moose together in a group like that. And because there's at least 2 bulls, I think there might be 3 bulls anyways. And there's a couple of maybe yearlings out there. They're smaller. The yearlings are frisky. They're like kicking up their heels and, you know, in the snow. It has been an absolute hoot to watch them. So we're kind of making our way down. I was going to show Melanie a wildlife management area where I think they have feed for the elk during the winter, the Bornlof wildlife habitat area or wildlife management area, something like that. For us at Buffalo, Wyoming, anyway. So we're going to check that out. I think we might see some elk and stuff down there. So this was a thrill to see the moose up here when it's so cold. We kind of thought they'd all made their way to lower elevations already because the snow I don't know, we got a few inches here. It was a little bit deeper up at 10,000 feet, of course. And there's actually, as you get down lower to like 7,000 feet, there's only snow on the northern slopes and the southern slopes, it's melted off. So we'll continue on, see if we see anything else or if we can get any more clips of the moose. And otherwise we'll check back in with you when we get down to Bornlof down outside of Buffalo. Oh, I turned the car off. I didn't mean to do that. These smart cars. I apparently turned it off instead of just putting it in park. So I don't have that problem in the van because it's an old vehicle. It has a, you know if it's running and it's got a gear shift. But they're out there somewhere. But what a hoot, man. What a hoot. I was telling Melanie that it was already worth it. The trip was already worth it. Just going up to see the high elevation and the snow and the wind blowing the snow across and stuff. And that was already worth it. But getting to see the moose, that's the next level. And yes, it's winter and it's kind of cold up here, but as Melanie puts it, sometimes you just got to go up and check in on the mountains once in a while, make sure everything's okay. So we were doing our mountain check-in up here. There is a clearing we're coming up to, so maybe we'll get to see these moose again. All right, we'll pause here and see if they show up in this clearing out here. Oh, I see them coming. You're right. All right, we're going to shut this off so I can change lenses. This is a record for me, honestly. Even with the bighorns, I mean, I've never seen this many. Here they come. There's the first one, and the second one, and the third one. There we go. There we go. There's a bull. Oh, here comes another one.
There's one more in the bushes coming.
Oh, there is. So there are 6 at least. I have never in my life seen so many moose. I thought I was doing good to see 2 a couple times this year.
It's interesting they've gathered together. I'll have to do some research on that.
Yeah, please.
Oh, there's another one coming.
Is there 7 even?
This one hasn't crossed yet, but there's one in the woods.
This is number 6 coming out now, I think, right?
Yep.
Oh, you're right. I see another one up in the bushes, too. There's number 6 coming across here. And it looks like, yeah, we told you there were only 5 or 6 guys. Number 7 is about to emerge from the trees, too. This is incredible. I have never seen so many moose gathered up like this. I think 2 is the most I've ever seen. Maybe 3, maybe, with a cow and a couple small ones, I'm not sure, but I've never seen so many moose gathered up like this. This is absolutely incredible.
Looking at us.
They are looking at us. Apparently they don't like my voice. They don't seem to be bothered by the car, but I guess there's enough cars come down this road that they're curious animals. Absolutely incredible. Just in case you wonder if they're still good in the world, these folks in this blue pickup truck just stopped to make sure we were okay. Now they're driving slow because I think they're looking for the moose too, because we told them we're just watching moose. So seeing as it's Thanksgiving is always a time, great time, obviously, to pause and think about things to be grateful for. And, you know, I just have so much to be grateful for this year, this holiday season, this Thanksgiving. But what a bonus today. I mean, just incredible. We got another clearing here. I think we'll stop one more time, see if we can see him again before we head on down the hill. I'm not sure how the trail goes that they're following, but they've been walking a straight line for about a mile now, probably, right alongside the road here. So we'll pause one more time and see if they make another appearance. With the snow on the ground, we can sometimes see them through the trees. We catch little bits of movement, little glimpses of part of a moose. So we may get to see them again. This is a highway department facility here, so I don't know if they'll come across this field or if they'll go back. They may come across. There's some power lines out here, so I think they're probably following the power line route, because Melanie, who learned a lot about moose during her time living in Alaska, tells me they like to follow trails, that they don't really care for, as big as they are, they don't really care for, breaking trail through the forest. They like to follow established trails, and like in Alaska, they'll follow the dog sled trails. So I think they're following a power line out there. But anyway, I'm not just thankful for moose, but I'm definitely am thankful for getting to see 7 moose in one herd making their way along here. That is just incredible. I see some light flickers, or, shadows in the trees here. So I think they're still making their way along that power line. Okay, so we're back in the trailer. I'm recording this Thanksgiving morning, so happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Melanie did some research after we saw all these moose and basically confirmed what we were thinking, that the moose are generally solitary animals, but they will group up in certain cases, certain times of year. And one of the times that they will group up as a herd is during winter migrations. And so apparently that's what's going on here. Is getting pretty cold, the snow's starting to come, and so they're making their way, probably in this case, to maybe some lower elevations or more protected valleys where the food will be better and it'll be easier to move around as the snow continues to accumulate up here in the Bighorn Mountains. So thank you, Melanie. Well, I guess we're going to get moving on to the Bornlof site down the hill. We saw some movement a minute ago, but we're not seeing any more movement, and they haven't come out here. So I'm thinking they either bedded down to rest for a while or found something to browse on, or they changed course and are making their way back away from the road here. So we've lost sight of them, and they should have been out in the clearing by now if they were still making their way along at the same pace. So we'll leave them be, and we'll go down the hill and see what we can find down there. But definitely a worthwhile trip up here, checking in on the mountains. And I don't know if we'll get up here again this year or not. We might, you never know. But it's getting cold, and there are definitely some icy patches. They do plow the roads up here. The main road. They plow Highway 16 and they plow Highway 14 to the north. But they don't plow the forest roads, so we're kind of stuck on pavement. But here comes a plow now, actually. So just to prove I wasn't kidding, they do some maintenance on the main roads, but there are some icy spots up there. So I don't know if we'll get up here again this year or not. Hopefully we will. Hey, the DOT guy's even waving. Yeah. Oh, there they go. I see them. They're way out in the distance. I won't be able to see them on video here. They're out past the power lines. They're probably a couple, 200 or 300 yards out in the distance. So that they did change course, but what a hoot, man. What a hoot. So we're going to make our way back down. The clouds are kind of coming in and getting pretty heavy, so I don't know if it's getting ready to snow up here or what. It's 19 degrees where we're sitting, and it was 23 degrees not too long ago, so the temperature's dropping. Really cool, really cool. Many things to be thankful for this year, and amongst them, we're having a family get-together tomorrow for Thanksgiving at my son and daughter-in-law's house, a couple grandkids at their house, and we'll have about half the family there, and then on Friday, everybody's going to be there, and tomorrow on Thanksgiving, let's see, I have a son and daughter-in-law who are going to be with her family, and then I have a daughter and son-in-law who are going to be with his family. Friday, everybody will be together. But we still get a couple of the kids and grandkids tomorrow, and then my folks moved out here in the spring this year. And so they're going to be there. So it'll be their first Thanksgiving with everybody out here on the West Coast, or in the west half of the country. So that'll be really cool. And that's why we're still here. One of the reasons we're still here. Winter camping's a little fun if you get set up for it anyways, but there's far fewer bugs and fewer people, less competition for campsites and stuff. The people just aren't out there. But it's my folks' first year here in Wyoming, so we're definitely here for Thanksgiving and Christmas to spend some time with them. And look at this view with the sun hitting these peaks. And this is amazing. So my heart rate's up right now. Melanie's hanging the iPhone out the window, trying to get you a clearer shot without the window tint and reflections, but that's how we roll. We were just talking earlier, this phone is like 3 years old or 3.5 years old or something, so we're a little more willing to hang it out the window. It is on a mount, but not quite as scary as hanging a brand new one out the window. But man, I am just blown away. If we'd seen a moose, I'd have been all excited. If we'd seen 2 moose, which has happened several times this summer, that would have been really cool. To see 7 in one herd, that is just wow. Oh, we were talking off camera a few minutes ago how this is the most moose that we've seen. We're just like blown away. So that's cool. The only thing I'm missing now is I really would like to see a bear from a safe distance. And, you know, with the snow here, it would stand out great because they're supposedly we only have black bears in the Bighorns. That's according to the officials. There are other people, residents who spend a lot of time in the mountains who think we do have grizzlies here. I don't know, but there are bears up here. But I don't know if they're hibernating already or if they're still up because it's getting pretty cold. But it's still not quite hard winter, so I don't know. I guess they can do whatever they want to do. But we're just taking our time and meandering our way back down the hill to check out another site. Then we'll make our way back to Gillette for heat, so we can sleep with heat. Otherwise, we could have taken the van, but we're not really set up for winter yet too good. And tomorrow's Thanksgiving, so we have to make, we've already brought some silverware and plates over, And tomorrow morning we got to make up some creamed corn. Is it creamed corn or cream of corn? How do you creamed corn? Is that right, Melanie? So the cream corn stuff that you can buy in a can, but you know, us being us, we didn't want to bring that. It had like chemical additives and stuff, so we got real corn, and we're figuring out how to make our own from scratch creamed corn. And I even bought a new crock pot to do it, which did mean I made beef soup the other day too, which was pretty darn good. We didn't film it. If you want to see more cooking stuff, let me know in the comments. But the scenery is absolutely lovely. The Bighorns are always good. I always say there's never a bad trip to the Bighorn Mountains. Between wildlife and just scenery, and yeah, it's just great. It's off to the right here. If Melanie shows you, we camped up there a couple times last year. Not right there, but there's a road, a couple of roads that go up into that area. And we did quite a bit of exploring. We had a few videos up from there, I think a year or two ago. We took the van down some roads that you should never take a van down. They were somewhere past four-wheel drive roads in places, but we made it. It was also the one I got out at one point, let Melanie drive down this really rocky road, and I got out and was filming the van approaching down this really terrible road, and all of a sudden some critter out there in the forest let out this scream. I don't know what it was. To this day, I don't know what it was, but I'll tell you what, man. You told me it was Bigfoot, I would have believed it. My heart was beating, and I'm like, I jumped back in the van so fast when Melanie got there. I may look big and tough, but that was enough to be my undoing. And the forest out here, the Ponderosa Forest, you can see a fair ways through them, and I couldn't see anything. It's not like the forests out east and down in the southeast, and that some of those places where it's really dense and everything with a lot of undergrowth. You can see what ways into these forests. 8% grade, and down we go. And if you are coming through this part of Wyoming and you're going over the Bighorns, like if you're going to Yellowstone or Grand Teton, some of that other stuff, Highway 16 between Buffalo and Ten Sleep, the highest grades are like 8%, which is still pretty significant. And they're long. It's not like they're short. They go on for miles. But it's 8% grades here. And the peak here, the highest pass is 9,600 and something feet at Powder River Pass, I think they call it. We were there earlier. And if you go 14 or 14 alternate from Sheridan going west, it's higher, and they have 10% grades. So if you're driving a big rig or hauling a trailer or anything, and the long steep climbs are a concern, this one, Highway 16, they also call it the Cloud Peak Scenic Byway. If you take that one from Buffalo over to Ten Sleep, it's a little bit, not quite as bad, little bit milder. We hit this one more often just because it's 45 minutes closer to our home base. So if we're going up to the mountains, this one's a little easier. And of course, in the summer, there's dirt roads that take you all the way through. You can connect between 14 and 16. Would I sound greedy and unthankful if I said I wanted to see another moose while we were up here? I am just blown away. And we almost missed them, is the thing. They were just in a little clearing there, the last two bulls. And if we come by just like 30 seconds, or probably a minute or so later, we would have missed them. They'd have been in the woods, and I don't think we would have seen them. So the timing worked out just perfect. So here's one you can kind of see. Here's one of the forest roads here, and it is not plowed. So if you got a four-wheel drive or you got snowmobiles, you might be able to get through some of these. And of course, they drift in places too. So I mean, like right there, we could probably drive on it. But you get drifts and things and ice and whatnot. So not really conducive for a Prius or a cargo van during the winter months. Many years ago, I was traveling through this area with my brother. I think it was back around, let me see, January 2001, I believe. We were driving in a car, and my mother's car, actually, her Ford Taurus, and if you want the details, and we were making our way east from Washington State back to upstate New York, and we got to, we stayed at a friend's house one night, and then we got into Wyoming, we figured we'd stop and sleep in the car for the night. We had sleeping bags and warm clothes and stuff. So we got into Buffalo and headed up the mountain, and it was sitting right at 0 in Buffalo. And then we drove up the mountain a ways and found a parking area that it was a snowmobile trail parking area. So the parking lot was plowed. We pulled in there and slept. It was so cold. Melanie's sitting over there laughing like you should have been driving a Prius. You could have left the climate control running, right? The engine is starting to stop itself as it needed to all night. But so we did not have a thermometer, so I don't know how cold it actually got to up in the mountains. But if it was 0 in Buffalo in town, it was definitely solidly sub-zero up in the mountains. It's probably the coldest I've camped without heat. I've done 5 degrees a few times that I know of in the trailer, and in Utah and in Wyoming. Not on purpose, I just happened to be traveling then, and that's what it was. And it is so pretty up here, though. I just always love coming up here. And we're quite excited because now that we got the van high top done and usable, we're not done with it, but it's usable, and we'll continue plugging away at it over the winter and in the spring. But we're going to be able to get up here a lot more often next summer and do some camping and exploring. The challenge for us the last couple of years has been the van can tow the trailer, but not like super well. It's kind of a little bit at the edge of its limits, and there was just no way in blazes that I was trying to use that van to tow the trailer up here into the mountains, up these 8% and 10% grades, because that would not have been pretty. So we're excited now that we have the build to where it's usable. We'll have a lot more opportunities to get out this summer. So this year and last year we've done a lot of day trips, where we could come out for the day. It's only probably an hour and a half to the mountains. Buffalo's like an hour away for us. So we've been up here for day trips, but trying to get up for overnights, it was just the van. We've done a few in the overnights in the van, but it wasn't super usable. So now that it's usable, we'll be out a lot more next year. We're excited to do that. We've not done it this fall since we got the build usable because, as I was mentioning, it's quite chilly up here. So we're getting down to the 20s at night pretty regularly in the valleys, and low 30s, 20s, and so that means really, really cold nights up here. So we'll be ordering up a new heating system for it this week, as well as new batteries to make sure we can run that. And then next year, in the spring and in the fall next year, we'll have more opportunities that way as well. It's pretty out here. Getting on towards late afternoon light, even though it's not even 4 o'clock yet. All right, we might have a real nice sunset by the way things are looking so far. Well, hopefully we can back up this hill when we try and come out. Otherwise, we may be camping at Bud Love's place for a while. It'll be embarrassing to have to call the boys with a 4-wheel drive to come rescue us. Guys, I'm stuck. I can't get up this snow-covered hill. They'd come get me, but they'd never let me live it down. We're kind of passing, all on our left side here is the Bud Love Wildlife Habitat Management Area, I think it is, something like that. Anyway, we're seeing deer. They're making their way across in front of us. Hello, you. Hello, you. Guys, this is the Bornlof Wildlife Habitat Management Area. It's a pretty large area. Let's see, what's the sign saying for acres? 7,800 acres, I guess. There's a part we went by a little while ago, and then there's this part here. I've been in here with a van before during summer and made my way out quite a ways. It gets pretty rough. I should not have taken a van out there, but I did go out back in a ways on this road. This is as far as we're going today with a Prius. But they have several of these in Wyoming, and they provide, the idea is to provide safe winter wintering areas, winter grounds for certain wildlife species. Elk is the big one here. There's like 500 head of elk that winter here. And then they also have a lot of mule deer that come here just because it's a habitat that mule deer like too. And apparently, you know, they want to enhance and protect the herds of elk and deer and that sort of stuff. So they have some of these areas where they're closed to the public during the winter, like from January to May. I think this one's closed, something like that. But anyway, they that way the wildlife can hang out and not be bothered, and they can hopefully get through the winter, which can be pretty brutal up here. And there's a few of these though, and there's one in Jackson Hole, a real big one in Jackson Hole, just north of Jackson. If you're ever over there, it's a huge area. You know, they got a lot of elk over there. They winter there as well. So this is the Bornlof Wildlife Habitat Management Area. It's pretty. It's kind of remote. It's, I don't know, 9 or 10 miles, 8, 9, 10 miles out of Buffalo, which is already not very, is a small town. We're right at the base of the Bighorn Mountains anyway. You can kind of see some of them off here in the distance, but the clouds are really socking in a lot of it. But we're right at the base of the Bighorn Mountains anyways. Really pretty sky this evening. I think it might be really nice in the next few minutes. This here is the other part of the Bornlof Wildlife Habitat Management Area, or whatever that mouthful of words is. I can't ever quite remember. We passed this going into the other one, and so we're going back by it now. Heading out, making our way back towards Buffalo. Bornlof Wildlife Habitat Management Area. There you go. It is a mouthful. And yeah, January 1 to May 14, the area is closed. And then May 15, it opens up through the end of the year again, so that the wildlife can be undisturbed. But cool sight out here. We're getting some nice color in the sky. The other direction, not so much that way, but nice color just the same. There it goes. It is amazing the way they can jump. I'm always amazed by that. Take your time now. Piece of cake. Just leap over the fence. All right, so we're just cruising down the road here, and this ranch has a little stand out with meat, fresh meat, in the freezer there. So Melanie's gone to check out what they got. See if there's anything we want to pick up here. All right, so what do we got going here, Melanie? What'd you find?
I got some ground beef, because we always eat that. and some brats.
Ground beef and brats. Can't go wrong with that. So yeah, let's see. And over here to sign, they got ground beef, $5 a pack. Beef liver, $4 a pack. I'll pass on that one. Chuck roast, $15. Brats, $10 a pack. Wagyu beef jerky for, is that $4? $14.
Jerky.
Breakfast sausage for $7. So pretty cool. We may be back here again. You never know.
Yeah, they got eggs too for $4.
What?
A dozen. Do you want me to get some eggs?
Even better. Well, I only have another 20, so we'd have to get like 5 dozen eggs, which isn't the end of the world, except for that we don't have room in the fridge.
Well, I can put a beef back and get some eggs.
No, that's okay. We'll come back.
Okay.
We'll come back. It's worth an hour's drive, man. Worth an hour's drive. And meanwhile, it's just getting colorful all the way around us here.
Did you look at that? It says airmail on that really tall mailbox.
Oh, hold on. We'll pull over and show you this. I got the joke. We'll pull over and show you guys this. This is funny. All right, there's a row of mailboxes here. There we go. There's the row of mailboxes, along with a package delivery box. Airmail, that one up in the sky says. That's pretty funny.
I was telling Robert, I said, meet on the side of the road. That's Wyoming for you right there.
This is the Cowboy state. Beef capital or something here. Texas ain't got nothing on us for beef up here in Wyoming. Or venison, for that matter. Look at that whole herd full of deer out there.
I don't think it comes across it.
You may not be able to see them, but there's a whole herd full of deer out there. They're off in the distance. Oh, there's more in this field too. They keep on going. Lots and lots of mule deer out here. This sky though. So Melanie says the beauty of this is if you're out hunting at the Bud Love rec area there and you don't catch anything, you don't get any animals, which is, pretty likely if you're me. And she said, anyways, you can stop and buy some beef on the way home. Tell your wife that you just had it packaged up here in Wyoming before you got home. So there you go. All right, so we're just on our way home, and let's face it, we're going to be home well after dark, and why not grab a bite to eat on the way, right? So we just stopped at this Miller's place here, gas station, convenience store in Buffalo, Wyoming. Cool little spot. This is my preferred spot to stop when we're over here. It used to be a Maverick. I'm not sure when that changed, but true story, I drove up and down the road like 3 times once a while ago, trying to figure out where the heck the Maverick was, and finally figured out it's not a Maverick anymore. It's now a Miller's Travel Center. So that's supper, burrito for me, hot dog for Melanie without carbohydrates, because she has more discipline and self-control than I do.
I have my carbs tomorrow.
Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. She's getting her carbs tomorrow. She's saving them for that. So we are on our way back to Gillette, though. Thanksgiving tomorrow. Hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving.